This episode of Ham Talk Live is brought to you by Tower Electronics. For connectors, cables, and more, call 920-435-2973 or visit pl-259.com. And by ICOM. Heard it, worked it, logged it. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information about ICOM radios.
It's Ham Radio.
Hey, good evening, everyone. It's time for Ham Talk Live, episode number 221. The Newsline Young Ham of the Year 2020, Chris Brault, KD8YVJ, recorded live on Thursday, July 30th, 2020. I'm your host, Neil Rapp, WB9VPG. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Ham Talk Live. Tonight we'll be joined by Chris Brault, KD8YVJ, and Don Wilbanks, AE5DW, and we'll take your calls live in just a few minutes. Last week, Eric Guth, 4Z1UG, was here to talk about the QSO Today podcast Virtual Ham Expo. If you missed the show, you can listen anytime at hamtalklive.com or on your favorite podcast app or on YouTube, or you can catch the rebroadcast of Ham Talk Live every Saturday afternoon at about 3:30 p.m. Eastern over on 5085 AM WTWW down near Nashville, Tennessee. It's 5085 AM Saturday afternoons. Well, one last reminder here. The deadline is tomorrow for the Intrepid DX Group's Youth Essay Dream Rig contest. The prize is an IC 7300, and it's a 2-page essay answering 2 questions. What are your amateur radio goals, and what can we do to attract more youth to amateur radio? It's open to U.S. amateur license holders, ages 19 or younger. Go to intrepid-dx.com or IntrepidDX on Facebook for all the rules and how to enter. Again, the deadline is tomorrow, so you got to get that in. All right, get your questions ready to go for Chris and Don, and if you're listening to us live on Thursday night, you can call us after the interview by calling the telephone number 859-982-7373. We'll give that out again here again in just a second, so you can write it down and have it ready. It's not time to call in yet, but we'll take your calls later on in the show. You can also send a question via Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @HamTalkLive. We'll be listening and watching for calls and tweets throughout the night. And again, the phone number 859-982-7373. And I'll be back with Chris and Don. And we'll have a chance for you to win a Ham Talk Live t-shirt tonight, right after this word from ICOM America, right here on Ham Talk Live.
Get out and be active with ICOM's new IC705 and its optional multi-function backpack. The IC705 is your perfect QRP companion, as you have base station features and functionality at the tip of your fingers in a portable package covering HF, 6 meters, 2 meters, and 70 centimeters. This compact rig weighs in at just 1 kilo, or a little over 2 pounds, with RF direct sampling for most of the HF band and IF sampling for frequencies above 25 megahertz, and that large 4.3-inch color touch screen with live band scope and waterfall. The IC705 does 5 watts with a BP272 battery or 10 watts with a 13.8 volt DC power supply, has sideband CW, AM, FM, and full D-Star functions, a micro USB connector, Bluetooth, and wireless LAN, integrated GPS with an antenna and GPS logger, a micro SD card slot, a speaker mic comes standard, and supports QRP operations. The perfect accessory for your 705 705 is the optional backpack LC192 with a special compartment for your IC705 and room for accessories for soda activations or just a day in the park. Make sure you visit ICOMAmerica.com/amateur for more information on ICOM radios. And register now for QSO Today's groundbreaking Virtual Ham Expo. This expo will be filled with virtual exhibits and guest speakers, all from the convenience of your computer, tablet, or smartphone. Visit QSOTodayHamExpo.com to register.
Two antennas met on a roof, fell in love, and got married. The ceremony wasn't much, but the reception was excellent. You're listening to Ham Talk Live with Neil Rapp.
Welcome back to Ham Talk Live. Thanks to ICOM for sponsoring the show. Check them out at ICOMAmerica.com/amateur. And our guests tonight, we have two of those. First one is Chris Brault, KD8YVJ. He's 17 years old from Liberty Township, Ohio. He was the 2015 ARRL Hiram Percy Maxim Memorial Award winner. And Chris is actively involved with the Westchester Amateur Radio Association, WCHVOA, and a tour guide at their club station and at the Voice of America Museum of Broadcasting. Chris has demonstrated ham radio at summer camps for Boy Scouts. He's one of the hosts on the ARIS video that all the schools see right before their ARIS contact, and the social media director and director's assistant for the Youth on the Air camp. He is a senior at St. X, or St. Xavier High School, as we tend to call it, St. X, and plans on pursuing a degree in aviation. And he is also the second person to portray Hammy, the Ham Talk Live mascot. Also with us tonight, Ham Radio's Don Wilbanks, AE5DW. He joins us once again tonight from Picayune, Mississippi. You know him from Amateur Radio Newsline and Ham Nation. His day job is working at the High Art Media radio stations in New Orleans, producing commercials, and is a former on-air personality. He's a native of Shawnee, Oklahoma, first licensed in 1995. He has an extra class license and an active volunteer examiner, and he also wears a kilt to certain weddings. And his son was the first to portray Hammy at the Ham Talk Live mascot.
And my son graduated, finally had his graduation ceremony from college last night, so we're very thrilled about that.
Yeah, that actually was... Yeah, congratulations, Tyler. That actually was the first thing on my list that I wrote in because we were watching last night, Tyler's graduation ceremony, and I noticed that Tyler got to do something. I don't know if he planned this and thought it out or if it was just him being silly spontaneously. But when he got his picture with the guy holding the diploma cover,
yep.
Since he wasn't allowed to touch the diploma cover because of all the COVID stuff,
right,
he actually did something that normally you wouldn't be able to do in one of those pictures. He gave the two thumbs up.
He did.
Normally you wouldn't be able to do that because you're holding the diploma cover thing. So he got a rare opportunity there.
I'll tell you something else that he did the same thing for his high school graduation 2 years ago. He had a bag of chicken nuggets from McDonald's underneath his gown. He was snacking during the ceremony. That's my boy. And by the way, his call is November 7 Tango Mike Whiskey, which happened to be his initial. So very, very proud of him.
Yeah, we're very proud of Tyler, and he graduated and had the party, and now he's graduated again, so he's got to celebrate like 3 times now.
As the Cajuns say down here, he granulated and he got his diplomat.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah. I had the laugh. Actually, Julie, I think, is the one who brought it up when the young lady gave her graduation speech from the, on behalf of the class, and said graduating.
Yeah. Well, that's a good and we are in South Mississippi, so we're lucky.
Congratulations.
Shoes.
Yeah. I saw some sneakers, but yeah. Well, congratulations once again to Tyler. Nope, go ahead.
Tyler had his work shirt on. He's an IT help desk guy at the corporate office for a local tire retail chain, and they have other businesses as well. So he's doing the corporate help desk thing. He just started that this week. So he had his work shirt on underneath the gown. He had just come from work.
There you go. Well, we got the job done. So
let me apologize for my less than stunning audio tonight. I'm actually sitting on the back deck here at the palatial Delta Whiskey Mansion here on the family compound, and I'm on the MacBook. I'm using some Apple Apple earbuds, wired earbuds, to get into the MacBook, because I'm consuming a cigar, and we don't do that in the house. So we're coming to you from the great outdoors tonight.
There you go. Well, you gotta like being out on the great outdoors. And
how's life at the Delta
Wi-Fi.
Whiskey Mansion there?
Life at the palatial Delta Whiskey Mansion is beautiful. We'll be getting in the hot tub later. I almost did the show from the hot tub tonight, but I didn't want to electrocute anything, So
well, yeah, there's that.
Yeah, electricity and water.
Well,
not a good thing.
Yeah, there you go. Well, we're here to talk about Chris, so I guess we'll talk about Chris.
That's not why you called. You didn't call to hear about me. You called to hear about Chris.
So,
are you sure?
Oh yeah,
because we can keep talking about you. I don't mind.
Oh, you're the man of the hour. This could turn into a Dean Martin roast. So you're the man of the hour.
Yeah, good.
Ladies and gentlemen, Don Rickles. We'll get Foster Brooks to come up here as your ham radio licensing mentor. That'd be awesome, wouldn't it? You're too young to know who these people are.
I was going to say,
they're sunglasses, aren't they?
No, that's Foster Grant.
Oh, Foster Grant. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I'm drinking and you're drunk. How does that work?
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
Exactly.
All right. Well, we've got the 2020, and we'll get the full name in here. The Bill Pasternak WA6 ITF Memorial Amateur Radio Newsline Young Ham of the Year with us tonight. So,
and that's all the time we have, ladies and gentlemen. Good night. Thank you.
Okay. Good night. Yep. Don't forget to tip your waiter. So tell us a little bit about the award here and what all's been going on with that, and about Chris.
Well, the award started again by Bill Pasternak, WA6 ITF, in 1986. So we have a long history of Young Hams of the Year. There's only one year that we didn't award it, and that was because, quite frankly, the nominees weren't stellar enough, we didn't think. There's a pretty high bar, and every year the bar gets higher. So we have done this, except for 1 year, since 1986, and when Bill Pasternak passed away, became a silent key in 2015, we added his name to the award as a memorial to his commitment to recognizing the accomplishments of young people in the amateur radio service. And I have to mention CQ Magazine, Yazoo USA are the primary sponsors of the award. Also, Heil Sound Limited and Radio Waves Antenna Company. And we could not do this without our corporate sponsor. Let me just read you a little bit of what earned Chris this award. His father was his guide in amateur radio, Jocelyn Brault, KD8VRX. Chris recalled car trips, watching and listening to his dad operate mobile. We could be on a trip somewhere. Chris said, this is from the press release. Chris said, we could be on a trip somewhere. We'd be talking to people along the way. It seemed like a lot of fun. As you mentioned, Chris is a member of the Dayton Amateur Radio Association, the Westchester Amateur Radio Association, and the Ohio Valley Experimenters Club. He's an honor student in his senior year, or entering his senior year at St. Xavier High School in Cincinnati. He helped restart the school's amateur radio club, W8GYH. He's earned recognition for his many achievements, including the Hiram Percy Maxim Award in 2015, the Ohio Section Special Recognition Award in 2016, the Great Lakes Division Young Amateur of the Year in 2017. That year, Chris was invited to join the Dave Coulter Youth DX Adventure in Costa Rica, where he worked the stations along with former Young Ham of the Year Bryant Rascal, KG5HVO, from 2018. Also, Austin Harris, W8CCS, that made more than 3,100 contacts, which I believe is a record. Chris, is that true?
I want to say it is, but I can't remember, to tell you the truth. I'd have to look.
I want to say it is. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It was a record at the time. I do know that.
Yeah, at the time.
Yeah.
It was right. So Chris also helped in the planning of an amateur radio on the International Space Station contact in 2016. Spoke with astronaut Kate Rubins, KG5YVJ, while she flew overhead. As you mentioned, he's the social media director for the Youth on the Air organization, a contesting mentor for youth who are involved in its programs, tour guide, like we said, at the National Voice of America Museum of Broadcasting in Westchester, Ohio. If you have not seen that, you need to go. Every American needs to know about the history of the VOA there in Westchester, Ohio. He actively assists in mentoring youth young operators at its amateur radio station there, WC8VOA, a killer station. Chris also works annually with his dad on putting youth on the air in the annual Jamboree on the Air in October. He's been a presenter at the Dayton Youth Forum in 2017, the Orlando Hamcation in 2017, and he recently started working part-time at his local regional airport, and he was invited to take flying lessons. He's pursuing his private pilot's license. He's exploring a career in aviation as a commercial pilot, and he has a killer setup for flight sim at home. I was able to visit their home here when I went up to Neil's wedding, and that's a sweet little setup. I'm very envious of that, being a guy who came within a few hours of soloing to get my private, had to stop because, well, the job ended and airplanes fly on money. But nonetheless, Chris is on his way to earning his wings, and we could not be more proud to have Chris Brault as our 2020 Bill Pasternak WA6ITF Memorial Amateur Radio Newsline Young Ham of the Year. And normally we present this award at the Huntsville Ham Fest, the third weekend in October, but because of the COVID-19 ham pandemic, that Ham Fest was canceled, and I was able to present him the award at Neil's wedding. We're very thrilled, Chris, that you're representing us as the 2020 Young Ham of the Year. Congratulations.
Thank you, Don. Appreciate it.
And I met Chris when he was 12 years old. I was standing at Dayton in the Hara Arena at the Ham Nation booth. I think Bob Heil was there. There may have been a couple of other people there. And this gentleman came up with his young son, who I believe, Chris, you were 12 at the time. And I think you had just missed earning your technician ticket by 1 or 2 questions. And as I recall, you were just a little bit bummed, and we did our best to encourage you and cheer you on. And it wasn't long after that that you earned your amateur radio ticket, and you hit the ground running, and you're still running, and I expect good things to come of you and your amateur radio career over your lifetime, and I am honored as I can be to be your friend.
Well, thank you. Yeah, Dayton was fun. I think it was our first year going, and we only had the day. We had some other stuff planned, and my father had just become a ham, so we're like, we'll just go up for the day, see what it's like. Took the test, missed it by 1 point, like you said, and wasn't real happy, obviously. But we were like, we can either try and take the test again, which maybe I would have gotten it, but we were like, we kind of want to see what this whole Hara Arena thing is, so... Decided to explore around instead, met you and Mr. Heil and all the wonderful folks at Ham Nation and the community, and it was a great time.
You know, having not been around that test session at Hara, but I am a VE, and I've been involved in a lot of test sessions, all of them, small local ham fest. I cannot even imagine what the pressure must be like to take your test at Hara. I actually, my son Tyler was talking about maybe taking his test at Hara or at a large ham fest, and I said, no, let's do it at the local club because there's going to be a whole lot less pressure. And I talk a little bit about that, because I can't even imagine the experience of taking a test at pretty much the largest ham fest in the world.
I didn't honestly feel too pressured. Also, like for me, since I'm from here, you know, Dayton is just big city up the road. It's not, you know, everybody's like, oh my God, it's the mecca of ham radio and it's this big convention. Well, you know, 12-year-old Chris mine, I'm like, oh yeah, there's a museum and Wright Brothers stuff, and it's up the road like an hour or so. So right. I was like, you know, this is just going to take the test. And I'd studied a little bit. I'd read through Gordon West's book and done all that. And I was like, I think I'm ready. Went for it and missed it by one. So I was like, I'm almost ready. Gotta go back and reread. But honestly, I wasn't too pressured, just because I didn't comprehend how big it was and what it was. Plus, I had done the test before I went. I think if I had done it the other way around and gone first and then tried to take the test, I probably would have been more nervous.
Yeah. Well, you got it, and that's the important thing, and you're doing great things, and we're so proud of you.
Thank you.
We really are.
Yeah, I remember...
I can't be more excited about this young man. I really can't.
Yeah, I remember meeting him and Jocelyn at Hamvention as well, but I think it was a year later. And I was working with one of my students at the big super station that they had set up out in the vestibule. And so they had this great big huge automatic 2 kW amplifier that was almost running below the legal limit. Right. And yeah, the biggest and best radios, and they just decked it out with everything. And so it was your chance to operate one of these huge stations. And here comes Chris in his hat and Jocelyn and hung around, because I was covering for Emmett, the Radio Waves guy. He was kind of heading that up, and so I was kind of covering for him. So they came along, and so I got him, set up on the radio, and they took off and running, and happened to snap a couple of pictures, and then sent them to my friend Gary West, K8DEV, who was in the same club, and we kind of finally made contact there and started working together. And now we're working together on this whole Yoda thing, and I'm actually a member of the club over there now, and spend some time over there. So it's been great to have Chris around, and I get to see firsthand what he does. We worked together with the youth contesting program, and he was mentoring Patrick, another young ham in the Cincinnati area. And we just kind of showed him, okay, here's what you do, and off he went. And so couldn't be more proud of. And
Chris is a first-class operator, too. The first time I talked to Chris on the radio, it was field day 2 or 3 years ago, I think, and I actually got Chris twice. I got Chris on, I believe it was 20 meters early in the 24-hour period, and again on 40 meters in the last hour or so of the 24-hour period. And to hear this young man on the radio is a true joy, especially at field day, because being you were probably 15 at the time, I think, when we did that field day contact, and listening to you is like, it sounded like you'd been on the air for all your life. And I listened to you call the local net on I guess it's VHF, UHF, whatever repeater the UHF or VHF repeater there in Westchester at the VOA. I listened on Echolink and was able to check in a couple of weeks ago. And yeah, you're a first-class operator. I mean, you know what you're doing, and it's just I'm kind of awestruck. I really am. And
appreciate it.
I don't get starstruck easily. Because I've been in radio for 40 years and I've been around big people. But when you are around someone who does something really, really well, and especially better than you. I don't consider myself a real good operator because I just don't have the time to get on the radio that much. But listening to you, I'm sitting there thinking, my God, I wish I was as good as this kid.
Appreciate it, Don. Yeah, that was the first field day. I want to say it was, let's see, probably 12 still. Probably, it was right after Dayton. And I was mic shy, so I only made 1 or 2 contacts.
Right. Well, you weren't mic shy. When we did our contact, you were not mic shy at all. You were. No. That was the next year. Yeah.
And I think I made 700 or 800 contacts that field day.
Yeah.
So it was fun. This year I didn't really do it just because I had work that weekend and stuff came up. But hopefully next year I'll do it again at the club and try and do a little bit longer, especially now that I'm older and an all-nighter doesn't seem like, well, you know, when you're 13, an all-nighter sounds impossible.
Yeah.
When you're 18 going into college, an all-nighter is nothing. So
a little bit different. Yeah.
You got it.
Mindset.
Yeah. So I was like, well, maybe I'll do field day and I'll run the night shift or something. So
well, let's hear about. So you're in your senior year. You're going to be going into your senior year in high school. You're working at the local airport. You've decided that you're going to make a career in aviation. What are the college plans that we're talking about here?
So the college plans are currently, a lot of people recently have done aviation through college, and there's ways to get your commercial ratings and instrument ratings, all the different ratings you need to fly through college. And so I'm probably going to do that. I might do ROTC or Air Force Reserve or something of that nature on the side to help pay for it or just to get military experience. Just because I've heard it's a good backup and everything. And I was like, yeah. So I'm probably going to do that on the side just to help with it. But I'm planning on going there's a couple schools in state, so like Bowling Green and Kent State, Ohio State have the Ohio State and then Ohio University, just because the two get confused. All 4 of those have aviation programs and they're in state. So that's definitely an options for me just because of the cost and everything. And then out of state, there's some good ones too. There's St. Louis University, which like St. Xavier, like my high school, is also a Catholic university. So that would be just like for the religious aspect. And
right.
I believe there's a little bit of scholarship for that as well. That's easier to obtain. So I was like, that's definitely an option as well. Trying to think where else. Purdue over in Indiana is definitely one. And then I know in Florida there's Embry-Riddle, which is like the big.
Yeah, I was going to mention Embry-Riddle. Yeah.
Yes, I'm looking there. I'm not too sure yet, but I know my parents are like, it's Florida, so you know it's not like there's winter or anything like here.
No, but you have hurricanes. That's a lot of fun.
That's true.
And it's a lot of fun to watch. It's not AvWeb, but it's one of the flight trackers, and watch all the planes depart Embry-Riddle when the hurricanes come through, because all the students get to move the airplanes out of state, out of the path of the storm, and so to watch the flight tracker website is pretty amazing. You see all these tail numbers ending in ER. And those are all the Embry-Riddles, and they take off about a half hour to 45 minutes apart, and there's just a line of them flying to like someplace in Tennessee or something. It's funny as it can be to watch the flight.
I remember seeing that. I believe it was last year when we had the hurricane come through. I mean, obviously it didn't come through Ohio, but down south where you guys are. And I remember someone got like the ATC recording, and it's just one after the other requesting clearance over to wherever they were going.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty amazing to watch.
All right, well, we're going to take a break here, and then we're going to come back. We'll take some calls, and we'll take some tweets and comments and all that stuff when we come back with Chris and Don right after this word from Tower Electronics right here on Ham Talk Live.
Hey, honey, have you seen the PL259s anywhere?
No, I haven't. Come on, kids, let's go.
There's just one place to go for all of your connector needs.
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
A giant warehouse of connectors and adapters for every occasion. Thousands to choose from in every shape, size, and color. And they have antennas, soldering supplies, cables, meters, and more. Where do you go if you want to buy a connector at a fraction of retail cost?
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
And this weekend only, take advantage of our special liquidation sale. Buy 9 solder-type PL259s, get the 10th one for just 1 penny. They make great Christmas presents. And what better way to say I love you than with the gift of a PL259?
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
I'm Scott, KB9AMM of Tower Electronics. I like the PL259 connector so much, I bought the company.
Tower Electronics, coming to a Hamfest near you, or online at pl-259.com. And we're in the yellow pages under Amateur Radio Connectors.
My, wherever did you get that lovely PL259?
Tower Electronics, pl-259.com, or call 920-435-2973.
Do we sell PL259 connectors?
Join the conversation. Give us a call at 859-982-7373. Again, the number to call is 859-982-7373. Or, if you'd rather type than talk, tweet us at Ham Talk Live. Now, here's Neil Rapp with more Ham Talk Live.
Ham Talk Live with Neil Rapp.
Welcome back to Ham Talk Live. Tower Electronics has a couple of ham fests they're going to be at. Angola, Indiana on August 8th and Winchester, Indiana, August 15th. But you can visit them anytime at pl-259.com. Ham Talk Live is on the air every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on hamtalklive.com. And be sure to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And it's time for your calls right now. So if you have a question or comment for Chris or Don, give us a call. And let me give you the phone number again. It's 859-982-7373. 859-982-7373. You can tweet us at Ham Talk Live. If you're listening to us on WTWW or on the podcast edition, you won't find anybody home because not there. It's Thursday night when we're recording this. And tonight we're giving away a Ham Talk Live t-shirt for the best call or tweet of the night. Thanks to Tanner Jones, W9TWJ, for donating a shirt to give away. So we'll give away a shirt tonight for the best call or tweet. So again, the number 859-982-7373. And Don, you know that this guy Chris kind of decided to make this whole thing a surprise.
Yeah, this is great. I found out that Chris was the Young Ham of the Year, and so I knew that our Young Ham of the Year chairman, Mark Abramovich, NT3V, was going to call Chris to do an interview for the audio piece that we did for Amateur Radio Newsline. And so the funny thing is, Chris texts me, and he says, because he knew I was coming up to your wedding, and I figured, well, this is perfect because it will be the perfect opportunity. I'm trying to pull up the text now. Here we go. I was coming up to your wedding. I'm gonna pull it up.
Make sure you're not lying.
I've got it right now. So I said, well, this is going to be great because I'm coming up to the wedding, and I figure, well, we'll just give it we can do the award like at Neil's wedding. I can present it to him there, and maybe at the reception or something. And Neil, you were so gracious to say, hey, do you want to get up? And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that because it's your day. But this is so funny. So he says, I know Mark. This is the text from Chris, Friday, July 10, 2:28 p.m. I know Mark wants me to tell my mom and dad, but I'm just going to let them be surprised. And I'm like, oh, that's funny. And then he says, does Neil know? And I said, yes. So,
because I knew you were going to be coming over to drop some supplies off and help out.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to make sure Neil didn't say anything when he came over either. So
here's how it went down. We're sitting at the table. It's a table of 8 at the wedding, and there was another couple who old friends of yours, Neil, and that's how we figured out that your name is actually Rusty.
Oh yeah, you must have been talking to Dave.
Yeah, and so your name is Rusty, and because of my attire at the wedding, I am now known as Kilt Boy. And Chris, your mother just texted me, by the way, Rusty and Kilt Boy, Thursday evening entertainment.
There we go.
Seems about right.
It's the Rusty and Kilt Boy show with the former Cincinnati Short Rib, who was, of course, that's your blues name because you're in our blues band. And but although Short Rib no more, you were a head shorter than me when I met you, at least, and now you're a head taller than me, at least. So you have graduated from being a Short Rib to a full rack. But anyway, so here's the cool thing: we're sitting there at this table, and I've got this Walmart bag with a padded envelope in it, and I'm just sitting there, and I told your dad, I said, yeah, I got something I'm going to bring to Chris. He had no idea what it was. And so you kept it a secret, and I said, here, Chris, let me just give this to you now. And so he pulls this plaque out and shows it to his parents, and you could see their chins drop under their face masks. It was the most priceless thing, and I have a picture of that moment. And I wish that the face masks were not there, because I know that their tongues would have hit the floor, because it was the most priceless picture. And I'm so glad that you were able to surprise them with that, because it's kind of, I think, if we were to do this at the Huntsville Hamfest, it's kind of, I don't know if I want to say anticlimactic, but it's like the surprise is gone. There's that you're going to get up on stage, and we're going to spend 20 minutes or so talking with you and letting you talk and everything. But it was kind of a neat experience to be able to do that at Neil's wedding, because it was very intimate. It was just us, a bunch of friends sitting around, and the fact that you were able to surprise your parents with that, and I was able to experience that with my wife. It was the first time that you guys had met my wife Dawn, which was just very, very cool. Now, your mother Kim and my wife Dawn, I think, are now BFFs. So that's a cool thing. I just wish that you guys lived closer to us, or we lived closer to you, or whatever. But nonetheless, the fact that you were able to surprise your parents at Neil's wedding, to me, was just like the best idea ever. So congrats on that.
Yeah. I want to apologize to Mark first, because the first thing he said after he told me was, tell your parents. Mm-hmm. And I completely disregarded that. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait. No, but I was like, okay, it's going to happen at Neil's wedding. Neil's wedding is, I don't know, like 12 hours away. I was like, I think they can wait 12 hours.
It was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. And actually, Mark agrees. He's like, oh, that was the best. I'm so glad that he didn't tell his parents. So, no, it was it was the most unique awards presentation for Young Ham of the Year that I've been involved with in my 25 years with the organization. It was priceless. Everything just worked in the middle of
the only one that hasn't been at Huntsville.
That's true. Well, that's all right, because next year we'll have you up on stage, and we will we'll do it all at Huntsville again. So next year be sure and bring your award, because we want to have a picture of you and the 2021 Young Ham winner next year at Huntsville, which is we're about that will be 13 months away from now.
Yep.
Right at.
Okay, so I want to know, whose wedding are we going to crash next summer?
I don't know. I don't know anybody getting married.
Yeah, me neither.
You don't have any plans, do you, Chris?
No, I do not. It's a little early for that, Don.
A little bit, yeah. Hold on. A little bit. As long as you can. Yeah. But, hey, listen, the heart wants what it wants. When I moved to New Orleans, and this is totally off subject, but the heart wants what it wants. I was fresh out of a divorce, moved to New Orleans, met my wife my first night back on the radio in New Orleans on the request line of all places. So I'm batting 50-50 on the request line. And my priest at my church in Oklahoma City before I moved, gave me the worst advice ever. He said, don't go down there and fall in love with some girl. And I avoided it like the plague, I'm telling you. But I literally, one night driving home from her house after dropping her off after a date, I had to literally pull over on the side of the road and throw my hands up in surrender and look up at the sky, through the ceiling of the roof of the car, and say, okay, God, this is the plan, I guess. I'm going to trust you. And we'll be celebrating our 36th wedding anniversary coming up in September. So, hey, the heart wants what it wants, and when it's right, it's right. So, you can't fight destiny. But, yeah, you're a little young. Let's not think about that yet.
Yeah. Let's hold off on that a little bit.
And if I'm not mistaken, this was your first wedding to attend, right?
First that I remember, yeah.
Wow. Well, it's going to be a tough act to follow. Tyler's first concert was Motley Crue on their farewell tour, and that's going to be a tough act to follow as well. So, this wedding is going to be a tough act to follow, I think.
Yeah, I don't know anybody getting married, so.
Yeah, he came up and asked me, like, what's going on? What are we doing here at this reception? And I'm like, haven't you been to a wedding before, boy?
Yeah, no. That's all right. We all convened over at his house for the party after the party.
That was the party after the party. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
Dawn and I went over to Kim and Jocelyn's house, and we got to hear Chris play piano for us, which that was a talent I did not know that you had, and you did a fine job.
It's a secret one.
Well, it's
secret no more.
It was,
it's on this show, so there's at least 5 people that heard it.
We very much enjoyed that, and I know that your mom's listening and your dad. So thank you so much for having us over that night. That was the best. Seriously. So, hi, baby. My wife just walked in. She was over across the way for a birthday party. So, yeah,
there she is, and she got the official photographer duties.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there were some. I think Chris's mom took the picture of me, you, Chris, and his dad. I think Kim took that one.
Kim took that one. All right.
Yeah.
I knew Don had some of them.
Somebody took a picture somewhere.
Exactly.
Somewhere.
There was actually photographic evidence to be used. That's right, with circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back to be used as evidence against us. That's another. You're too young for that too, but Neil knows. Neil knows what that is. I'm sure that's a Thanksgiving staple. That is the Alice's Restaurant.
I just got confused on the against us part, but
listen to Alice's Restaurant.
Okay.
Arlo, not Arlo, but
Neil, should I listen to this man's advice or
Guthrie?
This is Wilbanks we're talking about now.
Exactly. That's why I'm asking you first.
Arlo Guthrie's, Alice's Restaurant, and Massacre. Yes, you must listen.
Oh, I think I've heard that actually.
Yeah, I'll back him up on that one. Well, let's see. Chris AA4CB says hello, and John Knott in for JTK was excited about the mention of Embry-Riddle because it's just down the road from him in Daytona Beach. So, and John's going to be on the show next week, actually. So we'll talk about that here when we sign off. But it was cool. I was glad. And Chris called me and said, this is your big day. I don't want to get in the way. And it's like, don't worry about it. We've got it all arranged. It's not going to interfere. We'll be good. And, but the funny thing was I was dropping some stuff off to his dad in the driveway, and his dad says, well, he got a call from Mark Abramowitz. Mark Abramowitz is trying to get a hold of him. And I think he's up there on the phone right now. And I'm like, okay, if Mark's calling, that's a pretty good sign. Well, So I'm glad it all worked out.
And let me just add that this year was kind of rare. This doesn't happen very often at all, because normally there will be one person, one nominee that rises to the top. The cream rises to the top. Well, this year there was a tie. It's very, very rare that there was a tie. And Mark, as the Young Ham of the Year chairperson, he breaks the tie. So he called one judge that was Chris's choice, and I believe Mason is the other young man. Correct me if I'm wrong, Neil. You know this young man.
Yep.
I believe it's Mason. He was the other nominee. So he called a judge that had picked Chris and a judge that had picked Mason, and he picked both of their brains, and they were both like, that's our guy. There was not one guy that said, well, you know what, maybe one might be better than the other. It was an absolute dead 2-2 tie, and Mark had to make the decision, and I think he chose well. Mason is still young enough that I believe next year Mason, if he's nominated, he can be nominated because he's still young enough. You have to be 18 or younger. Chris would have aged out this year, so this would have been Chris's last opportunity, and that had absolutely no bearing whatsoever on the choice. It's just that you edged out the other nominee, and good on you. That's all I have to say. You were the right choice for a number of reasons. You were the right choice.
Thanks, Don. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if Mason's listening or not, but if he is, I mean, you both know this, but I was nominated for years.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen until this one. So just because you don't get it 1 year, it doesn't mean it's an end-all, be-all. I mean, just keep putting it in.
That typically is the rule rather than the exception. The person that wins is rarely, as far as I know, and I have absolutely nothing to do with any of the judging whatsoever. I see the nominees when they come in, and I put them in the Dropbox folder for the judges, and I will look at them, but I have absolutely no say, no input whatsoever, and I don't want any say or input whatsoever. I want total, absolute deniability. I have nothing to do with the judging. But I do know that for years and years and years of being involved with this, that the person who wins rarely, if ever, wins on their first nomination. So,
well, we couldn't be more proud of all of our young hams, and
exactly.
Chris has been there for many years, and so we're glad that it finally became his turn, and he was able to do that. And I remember him going down to Costa Rica and with Bryant and Austin, and getting to talk to all of them down there, and I was getting pictures on the from the airport and the plane ride and down there and everything else on that trip. And so I was able to kind of follow the whole trip, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm really glad that we were able to recognize Chris, and all of us at Newsline are very, very excited for this, and we'll keep on doing it. We'll keep on looking for young hams that are deserving of this award.
Yeah, it was Bill Pasternak's passion. He, like I said, he came up with this idea back in 1986, and youth and education were his passion, and this is, we're carrying on in his footsteps. So yeah, it's gonna keep on as long as we're here and are able to do it. We're gonna keep honoring a deserving young radio amateur every year.
All right, I've got one last question to ask Chris about here before we take off. Chris, if you could pick like one particular mode or one particular aspect of ham radio to call your favorite, what would it be?
That is a really tough question. Yeah, you got me stumped there.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's probably at some point going to be Aeronautical Mobile.
That's what I was thinking. I'm excited to try that sooner or later. But for now, I'd probably say DXing, just because I got to go on the DXpedition, and just because I love just seeing how far I can get and the different places and all that. So,
yeah.
Well, Aeronautical Mobile will definitely help with that.
I was going to say, once we get Aeronautical Mobile, that'll probably be the next one.
Have you fooled with satellites at all yet? Because I've been bitten by that bug. Thanks to Mr. Rapp there. He's got me. The bug has bit me hard here now.
Yeah, in fact, Chris's dad and I were in my car doing a little training on that a few months ago over at the museum. So I know he's been looking at it, and we even put an arrow antenna in his hand there for a while for the video shoot for the Youth on the Air commercial.
Yep.
Right.
I was going to say, I've used the arrow in a, what is it? Is it a ID51A, I think?
Yeah.
I think it's either that or it's the Yaesu equivalent, but something to that nature. That works pretty well.
Yeah. I've been using the elk, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And the best man in 9 KDB, Eric Bonham, says, I knew the secret. So there we go. He knew. The best man knew. There you go. Yeah.
It was nice to meet Eric and everybody else, all your friends there at the wedding, and just the fact that seeing that video of you on your little tricycle 3-wheel scooter thing with the rusty license plate on the front of it, I had to actually pause that, and I told Don, I said, you've got to come here and look at this. This is brilliant. One of these days when we have time, we're going to have to hear the origin of the Rusty nickname.
Oh, yeah. There's a story there, but all the family still call me that.
We'll let them tune in to another episode
next week.
That. That's right. Well, yeah, we'll hear about that at some point.
But yeah, Dave and Teresa are still calling me Rusty. So there you go.
Well, that's what I mean. That's those of us at Newsline behind the scenes. That's your name now. So you're going to be Rusty from now on.
And now you're Kilt Boy.
Rusty and the Kilt Boy.
Rusty and the Kilt Boy.
That actually has a better ring than my old morning show in New Orleans, which was Blair and the Fat Man. I kind of like Kilt Boy. That was before the weight loss.
Oh my goodness! Yeah. All right, well, we're going to wrap this thing up here tonight, and I guess we're going to hold over our shirt because we didn't get anybody.
Yeah, we didn't have any called
in. What if I call?
Yeah, there you go. You can call. Wait a minute! Don't you already have one?
Think so.
Yeah.
I was trying to see if you noticed.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So, Chris, any final words here before we go?
Am I allowed to do the outro? Can that be the final words?
Okay. All right. You can do the outro.
Let's do it.
There you go. Yeah, do it.
I'd like to thank myself, because I was a guest, and Don, 885DW, and Neil for hosting the show until I took it over at the end here. Everybody listening, nobody called in, but that's okay. Hopefully we'll see you next week, Thursday night, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific. And Neil, what are we going to be talking about next week?
Okay, so the group from the Orlando Hamcation and Orlando Amateur Radio Club will be here. They're going to talk about the Carol Perry Award and all the plans coming up for Hamcation and some of the stuff coming up with that. So that's what we'll be on next week. John says it's not him. It's going to be Michael and Mike. So John, I apologize. I assumed you were going to be here, but Michael and Mike will be here to talk about some Hamcation stuff next week.
Now, wait a minute, Chris, you forgot the most important part of the closing.
Of the closing?
Yeah.
Is that so? For now, this is Chris Brault, KD8YVJ.
No. Neil,
75.
say it with me. Neil, say it with me.
Say it with
That's
me.
a wrap. That's a wrap.
Neil already said it, so I wasn't going to take it again from him.
All right.
That's his line. I'll let him do that.
Kids these days.
Oh, I know.
I'm not stealing
we're so proud of you. We're so proud of you. Congratulations. I'm so proud that you got this award. I'm more proud that you're my friend. So congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Don. Thank you, Neil, for having us on.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
And the same from me. Glad to be able to share in this with you and provide a venue for you, and and just so proud of all you've done and all your accomplishments, and I'm glad that you could get this, and you've done a fine job on so many different things with the museum, Youth on the Air, and on this show. This is second or third time I think on this show, so you've done a great job. So I appreciate all that you do, and your parents, and the friendship of all of your family, and look forward to seeing you again soon. All right, Chris, there you go. There's your cue.
There you go.
For the
That's
final
not
line.
cue? Sorry. So for now. 1973, 75, and may the good DX be yours.
There we go. Good night, everybody.
Nice. Good night.